Buttery. Alright, folks, let's put Nick Bruiser on the canvas. We've had enough of this asshole. We've had enough of this game. This is a nice summer treat, but it's time to move on to other things and figure out what game I'm going to do next. Like I said last time, this game was a huge bastard. So yeah, keep munching on that popcorn and we'll discuss a bevy of things as far as what I think of it, kind of reflecting. So yeah, you do have to follow like a certain degree of patterns to be able to pull off knocking out this guy because his defenses are too high. But yeah, so it felt good being able to beat this game. I mean, I do like this game. I just feel like the difficulty is probably on like some of the steepest. I mean, this has to be one of the toughest games for the Super Nintendo. And it's up there with like some of those games that you just bought but you never really beat, and you kind of start to realize that as time goes along. You know, a month turns into a year turns into 6 years, and it's like, you know what, I just don't think this game I'm ever going to beat, and that this is the situation. And I think everyone has plenty of those games, especially if you were a 90s kid. And I mean, the 2000s games, PS2, Xbox 360 stuff was not quite as bad. I mean, they at least, some video games would even make it easier after you lost enough times, but others, this is kind of, I mean, you just have to really eventually get the skill set to be able to do it. But yeah, so that's what you're looking at. Is this game does not alter, and you will have to fight the other three opponents again and again and again. If he beats you even in 5 seconds, there is no mercy. That's what you have to understand. So, but that's alright, it's still fun. I mean, I respect this game. I just think maybe enough people got pissed off about it that that's the reason why there wasn't one of these for the N64. Which I would have liked. I probably would have bought that game. I probably would have been even more obsessed with this series back in those days had there been a Punch-Out 64. I would have liked it. I can safely say that. But, yeah. It's just one of those things. It's a tough little devil and shit. You want to fuck it up, but you have to understand that it did provide fun. That's the point. I mean, that's, you would almost think that that's like the number one rule, quote unquote, is to say, are you having fun? If you're not having fun, then don't play. But when a game is that fun, you want to be able to champion it. You kind of want to be able to say, yep, I beat this game, I did it, I went through all the stratagems and tricks of the trade, and I'm actually able to. It's so unfulfilling getting 99% done with something and not being able to get over that last hump, even if it's like the final boss as tough as this guy is. It's just kind of like, well, come on. You know, you gotta hand it to some of this. I mean, some video games will not do that. The final boss will actually be cheap because the rest of the game is hard, or easy, I mean. But this is kind of the thing. So I have to move on to something else. I thought about doing Uniracers in the winter, but I just don't really know. That's another bastard of a game. I'm just unsure as to whether or not I could do it. But I want to buy it. I definitely do. I want to mess with it, because there are still some Super Nintendo games I want to play. I'm thinking about rebooting Super Metroid, but I'm just not really in the mood for that. So yeah, I beat Nick Bruiser in 3 minutes. I mean, you have to beat him unless, I mean, if you look at that up there, I had less than 12 seconds before I would have lost and went to overtime. So I just barely pulled through. I was just like, fuck it. So you gotta understand that the special attack that you have when your meter is full, you do not have to use that in order to beat them. You can beat them with body punches or face punches. Don't be afraid to do it. I mean, it's not as fulfilling, but if it's going to be the difference between you winning the fight, you might as well fuck around and do it. That's pretty much, it's a form of advice. That's what I did with Rick Bruiser in one of the earlier episodes. I just beat him with body blows, and I was like, you know, I don't even care. I just want to beat the asshole and get it done with. That's what you really have to look at. So, but yeah, you're seeing the best ending. So just understand that. All of these, if you had lost at all, I mean, if you did not take any of these 4 special circuit people, you would not see this ending. Nintendo was really, like, pious about the skill set for this game. It's really mercilessly unforgiving. This is what you have to understand. You wouldn't think it would be. It's just like the League. It's a League-type game. It's definitely a certain league. But the thing about it is I don't even feel like there's probably 5 people out of 50,000 or 300,000 that could probably knock this game out without, you know, playing it on like the Super NES Classic or something like that. I mean, that's just the thing. I just do not see the attitude behind it. There's just no way. So, I mean, it's you can argue about it all you want, but that's what you have to look at. So I will resume Donkey Kong Country 2. I'm going to get back into that. I kind of took a brief vacation, but I think there's thousands of playthroughs of that game, so I wanted to do this just because it's more fun, and it provides like a certain vacay that just is kind of underdeveloped and stuff, so, you know. I mean, I did have fun fighting all these guys. You know, I liked Mad Clown. I liked, I'm trying to think. I mean, Mr. Sandman pissed me off, but he was fun to fight. I hated Super Macho Man. He was probably the one I hated the most out of all the fighters minus Nick Bruiser. And I said that last time. I mean, even Rick Bruiser didn't piss me off as much as Super Macho Man, because I tried making a second file to practice so I could keep losing, but there's just no way. I mean, Super Macho Man's a bastard. He's one of those that you need to be able to just fight again without having to keep fighting the other three fighters. So, but just him and the Bruiser Brothers are about the only ones I would really think most people would struggle with. But, you know, for upcoming kids, people who are like 6 years old who stumble upon this playlist, just understand that it's a bastard. You know, video games were tough as fuck back in the 90s and such. They really were unforgiving. And probably a lot of people broke cartridges and controllers because of it. I mean, that's just how it was in the 80s and 90s. We had a certain different resolve that kind of happened, and that's just how it continues to be. I mean, you know, for the future, you just have to look at it and just kind of say, I mean, there's really not much that you get in reward. I mean, I at least feel like you should get like a free pizza for beating this game. Special code, you take it to Blockbuster or Pizza Hut, and they say, and there's no expiration date, oh, you have to do it by like February of 97. It's just like, hey, you beat this game, you get the code, you get a free pepperoni pizza. That's what it should be. But alright, so I'll see you next time, folks. Go watch it again. Hopefully you enjoyed the popcorn.